Are you a god in creative but you seem to struggle in ranked games, or maybe you just feel like you've been stuck at the same level for a long time? If so, you're in the right place. Today, I'm going to be covering 8 different ways to instantly get faster mechanics. And the best part is that all the tips in this video are insanely easy to master. And I'm even going to show you how to transfer all of these skills into an actual rank match. So if you guys do enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe, check out my other socials, use code Farley, but now onto the video. Now all the tips I'm going to go over in this video are going to improve your mechanics in one way or another, but there's no point in training your mechanics if you're not going to give 100% effort every single time. For example, imagine a boxer training for a fight. If the boxer wants to be ready for the fight, he's going to train at 100% every single time he's training. That way, when the day of the fight comes around, he has a really good chance of winning that fight. The same goes for training your mechanics in game. If you want to win all the fights against the really good players that you're going to be fighting in ranked, you have to train your mechanics and play at 100% so that when you get in that situation, you know how to handle it properly. Moving on now, let's talk about the first way that you're going to get faster mechanics, and that is with minimal movements and minimal edits. Minimal movements will instantly make you a faster editor, and it will also give you better aim. Now, minimal edits are very simple. Instead of flicking on a double edit, I'm going to make the minimal movement to make the edit. So I'm going to select the two tiles just like this and then confirm the edit. What this is going to do is when you're triple editing, double editing, doing whatever you are going to be doing, you're going to notice that you're going to be a lot more consistent with your edits. What that's going to do is instead of your crosshair not being lined up when you confirm an edit, your crosshair is already going to be lined up with your opponent when you make the edit. So instead of me having to flick all the way back to my opponent, my crosshair is already going to be lined up with the opponent, and that means I'm going to be a lot more consistent in my damage. And as you can see in the background, doing a normal edit where you flick your crosshair versus a minimal edit, it takes a few more seconds for your crosshair to line up with your opponent versus a minimal edit. And sometimes those few milliseconds between you editing and shooting can matter in a fight, so make sure you're always minimal editing. Now, if you want to have god mechanics and most importantly transfer those skills into an actual rank match, you need to learn how to train your mechanics properly. So for example, let's say I go into my free build section and I'm going to go practice my free builds. I'm trying to warm up for rank. Sure, I can do all these free builds, right? And they're going to get my fingers warm. But after a certain point, they're not useful because in game, you're not going to hit a quad edit and go for a clip unless you're, I don't even know, Peterbot or something like that. So instead, you need to start doing moves that you're going to actually use in game. So for example, after I'm done free building, maybe I practice my side jumps so that I can get high ground on my opponent. Or maybe I practice things like wall resets that are actually going to be used in game. Warming up and doing moves like this in creative is going to allow you to build muscle memory so that when you get in a ranked game, you actually know what to do. Now, if you do want to improve your mechanics and become a god at fighting, then you need to learn how to fight from a box away because it's the best way to avoid taking damage while fighting. So for example, let's say your opponent is boxed up in this box right here. The first thing you want to do is you want to put a wall in front of you and then a cone below you and then walls around you if you're not boxed up already. You don't want to get third partied, and then make sure there's a roof above you. From this point now, it doesn't really matter what edit you make as long as it's a right hand peek. It could be a window edit, it could be a peanut butter edit, it doesn't really matter. From this point, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure you have control of the box in between you. So it could be a cone, it could be anything like that. Now from this point, what you're going to do is you're going to apply pressure to your opponent's wall and you're going to steal it from this point, and then you're going to edit while making sure you're protected. See how right here I'm not protected? Now I move here, now I confirm that edit, and now I'm protected. So if the player was there, I could jump and shoot. So in one motion, it would look like this. I know the player's in that box. I'm going to edit out, and then I spray the wall, grab it, move, and then I take my shot. Now that you know how to take walls from a box away in creative, let's show you how to do it in an actual rank match. So in this in-game example right here, I'm going to see this other player getting pinched, and I'm going to third party him and pick up a quick kill. After I pick up this kill, I can't go into this box with all the loot, because from this position right now, none of these builds are mine. So instead, I'm going to hold a wall from a box away and wait for the player to try and steal the wall. This is going to allow me to claim the wall before him. Now, after I claim the wall, obviously I'm going to edit. But it's very important that after I edit, I learn to incorporate my movement into my edit. Because obviously from this position right here, I'm exposed. The other player would be able to see me. But what I'm going to do is as I'm editing, I'm going to make sure to move to my left. This means when I confirm the edit, I'm now on a right hand peek. You can see from this POV, I have a right hand peek. And from the enemy's POV, obviously you can see he can't see me. This obviously allows me to jump up in the air, and then I'm able to crack the player. And at this point, he's super weak. I'm able to bleed a few shots in, shockwave through, apply a little bit of pressure, and then pick up a quick kill. So make sure when you're fighting in ranked, you learn to play from a box away so you don't take any dumb 50-50s. Moving on now, let's talk about the best way to piece control your opponent, and that is by noticing patterns in your opponents. So the first step to this trick is very simple. You're going to approach your opponent's box, Spray it once or twice just while you're applying pressure, and look to see if there's a wall behind the opponent. If there isn't, from this position, if you were applying pressure, the obvious way the player would go is backwards, and you'd want to create space. So since you know the player is going to back up into that box over there, don't go for his wall right here. Beat him to this area so that you can piece him up and then pick up a quick kill. Same thing right here. If I'm pressuring the wall and I notice that back right wall is open, I'm going to beat the player to that area so that I can piece him up and then pick up a quick kill, or at least get a big hit of damage. Now that we understand how to do this in creative, let's show you an in-game example of understanding patterns. When I see this player gliding, I'm going to choose not to shoot, and I'm going to wait until the right moment to get some opening damage. And then when I see the player jump in the air, I'm going to hit him for about 90 damage with my pistol. After getting that big beam of damage, I'm going to start to close the distance and apply pressure. I know that the new guns bleed through builds a ton, so I'm just going to spray while this player's popping his minis. Also, by the way, don't build in wood because you're obviously going to get your builds bled through. And obviously, after I crack the player, I'm going to start to approach his box. But when I'm approaching this player's box, I notice that the back wall is open. So that means since he's weak, he's probably not going to try and double it in front of me and fight me. He's probably going to backpedal and create space. So I'm going to fight the player where he's going to be and not where he is at the moment. So I'm going to jump over his head, and then I'm going to pre-piece that area, get a cone, so that when he walks into that area, I can double at it when he's not expecting it, and I'm able to pump him and pick up a quick kill. So make sure if you want to piece control your opponents, you do this. Moving on now, let's talk about the biggest issue that you're running into when you want to transfer your creative skills into ranked, and that is your confidence. Because a lot of players will feel insane in creative, but then as soon as they jump into a ranked match, all of a sudden they feel like they're playing a different game, they freeze up, and they make a mistake or two, and they get punished for it. Because when you're playing creative and 1v1 maps, it's a very low stress environment. And you have infinite life, so even if you die, you get to respawn and try again. But in ranked, you only have one life, so if you make one bad mistake, you're going to get punished for it. Now, there's a few ways to get around being nervous in ranked, but my best advice to all of you is to picture that you're still in creative. Imagine yourself in the 1v1 map that you were just playing right before you were playing ranked. Imagine the retakes you did, imagine what worked against your opponents and what didn't, and use that built-in muscle memory to win the fights in your ranked games. Also, another thing I think that's really important to mention is don't go into a creative map or a 1v1 map and just 10-0 some player that's garbage compared to you. That's not going to help you improve, and it's actually going to slow down your speed of improvement. Instead, keep queuing until you find a good player or someone hopefully that's even better than you. And when you 1v1 this player, even if you die, you're going to be able to learn from your mistakes. And that ultimately is going to make you improve faster than you just 10-0ing some random player in creative. Moving on now, let's talk about the next step to getting better mechanics, and that is by learning pre-fires. Now, to practice pre-fires, you need to go into a map with bots that are going to shoot back at you. I use this map right here. The reason this map is so good is because right over here in the box fight and practice arena, you can go over here and there's going to be a practice pre-fire area. Once you go into this area, you're going to notice that bots are going to spawn all around you and they're going to start to spray you. What you can do now is you can just simply practice your pre-fires, and it's also going to help you practice your awareness because you're going to be turning around and just looking for where the bot is, so you can do this over and over until you get it down. Once you have this down, now you're going to hit wall resets. So you're going to do this over and over when you see where the bot spawns. So I see the bot spawn, hit a wall reset, and then I'm going to wait for him to shoot and then shoot him back. Also, once you get this down, learn how to track your opponent while moving, because if you're just standing still, the player is going to be able to shoot you. But if you stay moving, it's going to be a lot harder for a player or a bot to hit you. So I'm going to stay moving while I hit the pre-fire. This is also so you don't get one bump when the player jumps into your box. Also, another thing, when you're boxed up and your opponent's in front of you and you want to hit the pre-fire, place a cone in your box before you hit the pre-fire. Because if you don't and the other player tries to jump into your box, he could just go up into your face, place a ramp, and then you shoot the wall, and then he could edit and shoot you. So make sure to place a cone in your box. Now, the final way that you're going to get better mechanics and most importantly learn how to piece control your opponents is by learning how to read visual sound effects. Going to the Martaz free build with bots. This is the map code right here. Now, the reason that this map is the best for learning how to piece control is because the bots aren't static and just standing still. They're going to be moving around, and this is going to allow you to learn piece controlling in the fastest way possible. Now, the first step to actually learning how to piece control in any scenario is reading people's movements. Now, obviously, in a build fight, you can't see where the player is, but your whole goal is to learn how to track visual sound effects. See how I'm tracking this player through the walls? I can't see him, but I know where he is because of the visual sound effects right here, as you can see. So if I see visual sound effects and I see this player moving in that direction, I know he's going to pop up right here so I can shoot him. So now your whole goal from this point is to learn how to track movement. So if I see the player moving that direction, I'm going to track that movement and then I'm going to piece them up. And you can just practice this over and over until you get it down.